Okay, this hangout is now live. What is this, Lady Ada? What's going on right
Happy
now?
Hanukkah. Welcome
right.
to today's show and tell. If you've got all sorts of tasty Hanukkah latkes treats or whatever, or you got electronics, you got LEDs, or you got LED menorahs, welcome to the show and tell. You can show off your awesome retro electronics, computing, transistor, manual, history, project, etc. Whatever, really. We're pretty open to anything that's cool. I got exciting people that we will start out with.
That's right. First up, Tony from Adafruit Northwest. How are you doing? What you got going on this week?
Oh, good, yeah. So I've got some retro stuff this week. I've got another thrift store book find. So this is a book. It's the Vacuum Tube Circuit book, and it's from 1948. I was shocked to find this just randomly in a thrift store. I guess it was written by a professor at MIT. And I mean, of course, it's pretty outdated these days, but it's kind of neat. I mean, it goes into all the equations and all of the math. Tells you how to build pretty much every amplifier that you want to build with a vacuum tube here. So it's kind of neat to see an old book like that at a store. And then the other book that I got was kind of funny.
How much was it? Wait, this is a thrift store find. You gotta say, what was it? Was it a deal?
Yeah, $2.
$2.
So it's funny.
If the book doesn't work out, you can always use it in like your fireplace or something.
No. This book will work out just fine.
It's a great book. Sorry.
And it's funny too to get this because when this book was printed, my parents were toddlers. There was wasn't even around or even thought of at that point. So the other book is this one, The Making of the Micro. This is from 1980.
Oh wow!
It's History of Computers. Now the funny thing about this is how thin the book is. So it's like this tiny little 100-page book, and that's the history of computers. How much has changed since then, I wonder? How thick would the book be now for history of computers? But it's actually a pretty cool book. It's got goes into all the detail about mechanical computers, like Babbage's, computing machines and things like that. So the other thing, real quick, is another little retro actual hardware thing. So this is kind of cool. I've got an old analog multimeter here, and this is actually a multimeter that my grandfather had. I guess he was into ham radio. And this is a Micronta, and Phil B was telling me this is Radio Shack's brand from I think like the 60s and 70s. So it's real nice, kind of high quality little multimeter, and it's kind of neat. So I've got it hooked up to an Arduino right here, and it's outputting a pulse every second or so. And I just wanted to kind of demonstrate for folks who haven't really seen analog meters before why they're still kind of useful, and it's not something that you just want to throw away. So you can really easily see when that pulse fires, the needle on the meter, jumping up and jumping back down. And you can see it on the digital one over here. It jumps up to 5 volts for a split second, but it's kind of difficult. You can't really tell and see some of the motion there. So it's not a replacement for an oscilloscope, but it's kind of cool to have that capability to see something. And it's just impressive that this is, I think, from like the mid-60s or so, and it still works. I have no idea when the battery was changed on it, but it's obviously still working. Another cool thing, too, is it's got this awesome leather case that looks like something from Star Trek, like a tricorder of the era. So it's kind of cool that they've, you've got that. Like, you don't get that kind of thing with a meter today for it. So that's pretty much.
You don't even need batteries for that meter. The voltage might be driving the little microamp coil.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. So might need
That's
to plug
cool. When we get to the far future, when we have like the EMP bomb, this will still work.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, exactly. So cool. Yeah, that's all I've got this week. Just some random retro stuff.
All right.
That's great.
Outstanding. Okay, next up, joining us from Adafruit West Coast, Phil B. What are you working on this week?
Hello there. Actually, I just showed up specifically to make Tony jealous.
Okay.
He and I, we have this thing. We go, we find cool stuff at Goodwill, and the bargains and stuff. So anyway, I've been wanting to do this thing of like for the cosplayers at cons and stuff, teaching them electronics for their cosplay stuff. And it's been this background, thing. I pick up little bits and pieces of the project as I go. But one of the things I was going to need for that is soldering gear for everybody, and cheap soldering irons. If you get a bunch of them, even cheap ones, that adds up. So anyway, once a year they do this thing here called the Niles Antique Market, and someone was selling Weller soldering stations. They had an entire box of them.
Oh,
Wow,
man.
those are the nice. Those are the West 50s.
That is the score.
Yeah. So I have seven. I have 7 working irons that people will be able to play with. They didn't all work when I got them. I had to replace some tips and I had to get a couple stands or whatever. But I was able to get 7 irons. So if I do soldering workshops now, I have like that part of it is all covered now.
Wow, epic. What was the price? Give us the bargain deal.
Without all the replacement parts I had to get,
Whatever.
the box of irons, $5.
Ah, damn, that's
You're
so nice.
kidding.
That's awesome. Those are like $100 irons.
I know.
They sell for $100 each.
I was super happy. So, I got like nice irons people can learn with, and whatever. Hey, if someone out there, if you're running a con, invite me, and we can all play with irons.
Yeah.
I would buy it, even though I didn't need them. I'd be like, because you give them away to friends even. Man, $5, that's a deal. Did they even know what they were selling?
I think they did. It's like the guy's son was supposed to be selling them on eBay and just never got around to it, and I think it was just needed to spite him. Just like, get this out of here. So.
Well, this is good for good. This is going to be used for good purpose. You're going to teach a lot of people how to solder.
I sure hope so. That would be cool. So anyway, Tony, neener.
Okay. Wow. Tony's sad.
No, this is great. I like that they're going to top each other. I think that we're now starting a reality show where people go out every week and get cool retro electronics or whatever, and what matters is how old and how cool it is and the value. And then they come here.
I've never gotten a really good. I don't think I've ever gotten like an epic deal. I mean, I used to go to like the Ham Radio Fest and I'd get Nixie tube stuff, like broken. Like they didn't know it had Nixies, but if you look in, you see that they have like the really nice Nixies. And I'd pick it up for like $3. So like it's broken, it doesn't turn on. I'm like, anyways, can you take out the Nixies and the Nixie driver?
Yeah, you and I still find good stuff in the trash in New York because they throw out a lot of lighting equipment, and we saw some great power supplies the other night. We couldn't grab them, but we're like, oh my god, these are like $200 each. We should like get them and rewire them.
Anyways.
Okay, well, let's keep moving.
Okay.
Next, Noah and Pedro from Frankfurt Southeast. What is printing up this week?
Hey, buddy, everybody.
Oh,
Happy Wednesday. We are printing, speaking of cosplay stuff, we are printing more awesome big things on the Lulzbot Tabs 4. And we want to remind everybody it is still on sale, 5% off. We are loving this thing. We are just throwing massive prints at it, and it is just printing them out day after day.
Also testing out some new stuff from NinjaFlex, some semi-flex, which everybody's gonna love for use in a cosplay and reprinting stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
But this week we're gonna be releasing some stuff we're using in our video production.
Yeah, we put together a DIY DSLR monitor using the 5-inch HDMI display backpack. So be sure to tune in tomorrow, where we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some printing techniques, some CAD stuff on tomorrow's show, 3 p.m. Join myself, Pedro, and myself, and Matt Griffin.
All right.
It's been a fun year.
Thank you so much, guys.
Excellent.
And for the folks who watch the blog and everything, check out last week's video, all the 3D printing things that you can do if you have a tree and you want to decorate it. We have a lot of 3D printed projects for that. Thanks for posting that up. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, very cool.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, Lady Ada, next up we're going to go to Robert.
Okay.
Hey, Robert, how's it going?
Hello, Robert. Hello.
Hi, Robert.
We can see you.
Yeah.
Hey.
So many Roberts we have. Robert Korn.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
Hey, Robert, how's it going? Show us your project.
All right. How you doing?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good.
Well, last year, about this time, I made a little CNC machine, and I had a lot of wood scraps, flooring mostly, left over from the kitchen. So I started making everyone like trivets and,
That's nice.
little, what do you call them? And my brother-in-law actually went to the CIA. He wanted the CIA logo. So first one I did, I screwed up and I really undercut it. It started to break up. But after a while, I got it right. But for this year, I mean, it's still up. It's still working. I actually made the...
Yay!
Oh, wow. That's pretty good quality.
No, they are actually pretty nice. Ornaments for the trees or keychains. And but this year I decided I want to make one a little bit bigger. So hopefully this is still on. There's a camera pointed at the work table. And if I share it, maybe not. Where is it? There it is, JPEG.
Okay.
All right.
All right, so
It looks pretty big. I see a table.
yeah, well, this is the old one, and it's nothing more than the Shapeoko driver with an Arduino, a couple of PIC micros, and a whole bunch of H bridges, some solid-state relays, a compact power supply. But this is the one I just used to make those little Christmas ornaments. Here's the one I want to build this year to replace it. Same idea, but it's a glider frame, a rowing machine.
Oh.
That's
With a
nice.
printer, with a much more powerful head. And I have found really big steppers, some aluminum plate I still have to mount up for the rods. This one actually uses a wire instead of a belt. So it's same as last year. It's pretty much my 3 weeks vacation I get at the end of the year because I work at a school.
Wow.
So I now have from now until January 5th to get to work on this, which hopefully it worked out last year, and I was able to, make that one just in time. Christmas Eve, I was actually still,
Very cool.
very late at night, I was actually still printing gifts for people because, it was just fun.
That's great, Robert. Can you come back when you're finished with it and show the final everything?
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're- Okay. And I
course,
had 3 quick questions for you. One, I like your LCARS interface in the background.
That's a touchscreen
Yeah.
MP3 player.
Yeah, it's not actually a question. I just like it.
Okay.
Two,
beautiful.
it looked like you had a very cool arcade cabinet that you built back there too.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can come back and show that sometime in the future. That looked very cool.
Yeah, that's a Xeon Monster.
Okay.
There's another thing I want to show. I got one of your RGB shields, the keypad shields for the Arduino,
Okay.
and I made a meeting debt clock. Essentially, it's powered by a 9-volt battery. It uses the basic salary of an IT employee, and when people come in for meetings, you hit a button, it adds them to the meeting, and it counts up the time you're spending in the meeting and the amount of money that meeting is costing. So when we have 30, 40 people from my division in a meeting, it counts up quick.
Yeah.
Wow, that's smart. You
and
can see
my
the
boss
camera
actually
moving
liked it.
up really fast.
And if you can answer this because you said you're a teacher, what do you teach?
No, haven't taught in years.
Oh, okay. I thought you.
I'm an administrator. I actually, I work for Pratt, and I'm the director of enterprise operations and infrastructure, which means
wow.
I got to deal with about 30 buildings on 26 acres. So
Wow.
Yeah.
that's why I only get to build stuff now.
Yeah.
But I've been dealing with some teachers because a few years ago I did some teaching, mostly IT, Linux, and they carried it on after I left, but that was at another school. And I came to Pratt, and I've hooked up with some people in architecture, some people in 3D printing
You
labs.
have access to everybody there.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we're going to have some fun this year because we just our CIO just gave us a nice space to use, and
Okay.
I'm hoping to have some fun at work now.
All right. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of projects, so please come back. Don't forget, email support@adafruit.com. You get an as seen on the show and tell sticker.
2 stickers, 1 free.
Yeah, and also when you email, if you want someone at Pratt to get the educator discount from Adafruit, just put that in the email. I'll make sure that you get the information we send schools too, if it's helpful.
Right, we have we never bought from you directly. I go through like Newark and MCM, and I have a lot of your parts.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, that's fine.
You.
Buy through them. We love our resellers. It's even easier. Okay.
Yeah, we buy
Thank
so
you,
much.
Robert.
Thank you.
so much. Next up, we are going to Jeff. Hello, Jeff. How's it going?
Hello. We can't hear you yet.
Can't hear you yet, Jeff, but probably be able to hear you soon. Oh,
No, not yet.
I wonder if it'll be Maker Charades. That's
Maybe
my
Maker-
favorite game.
I hope it's the Mac Classic
Oh,
in the
no,
background.
it's Maker
Mac-
Charades. Okay.
Mac Classic. Mac
All right, Jeff, do you want to try to show your project and we'll guess what it is?
Okay.
Trying to speak.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
No, I can hear you.
I think we can hear you. No, we cannot hear you.
Maybe there was someone else?
Yeah, I think it was someone else speaking for him.
Oh.
All right, well, maybe if you can hold it up, Jeff, whatever the project is, or move it around. If not, we can try to come back to you. Oh, boy.
Okay. It's a lot of wires.
You made...
Okay. It's a GPS
Yeah.
audio player
Hold it up higher.
Yeah, hold it up
It's a
higher.
Pro Trinket audio playing GPS thing. So like when you move around, it plays music depending on
It's
where
a
you
location-based music player.
are. Okay.
It's
We got it?
12 wire.
Okay, we won. All right, I love Maker Charades. All right, Jeff, email support@adafruit.com. Maybe take a photo, describe a project. We'll do a blog post about it or something like that. But thank you for being on the show and tell, and for playing Maker Charades. Okay, next up, we're going to go to Lex. Hey, Lex, how's it going?
Hey, going good, guys.
We can hear you. You can show your project and use words.
Oh, it works. Excellent. Well, I've been worked on this dog collar for my dog, where I had a fast vibration switch that I added in there. And can you see?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I was able to use a. I plan on adding a switch as of now. I just connect the JST connector, and I programmed a light cycle into it. And whenever you hit the whenever the switch is activated, it should get brighter and move faster. As far as whenever he
A lot
moves.
of colors.
That's cool.
So when the dog runs faster, the light up faster?
Yeah, I had it change the default brightness and the speed in the rainbow cycle, and then go back to reset to the normal. It works most of the time. Sometimes it gets a little blinky.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's like really fast.
There it goes. And it works intermittently. Sometimes it'll freeze up and just lock, and I'm not sure exactly what that issue is. But I can do a screen share of some of the parts I used. I was able to use the case from an old SD card as the enclosure, which fit the trinket in it perfectly.
Well, that's nice.
That's cool.
And here is that's the prototyping.
Okay.
And then it's in the back of this, and then adding the switch, and I fit it all in that little box except for the battery. I'm still working on an enclosure for that, and I'd like to add a switch. And these are stitches on the back, and then I stitched the wires to it there, which I had to redo because I had a short. I broke the wire eventually. He's a little rough on it, and so it all closes up into here, and there's him wearing it.
Ah, that's cute.
Not active at this moment.
No.
Offline mode.
And that's mainly. I'm still trying to figure out exactly why it stops at certain times. I used a really basic script. I wrote the rainbow cycle, and then I wrote another one using the color wipe.
Okay.
And set the switch up as an interrupt.
It could be the data line to the NeoPixel is getting loose. And so it actually isn't freezing, but the NeoPixels aren't updating. If you post to the forums, I'll check it out, and I'll see if I have any suggestions. But yeah, do that. I'll check the code too, just in case something is weird with the code. But that's probably my guess, because the thread, especially as you flex it, can get connected and disconnected. It does happen.
Ah, okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Lex. Email support@adafruit.com. You get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker. Jeff, don't forget, you get an As Seen on the Show and Tell sticker too. Just email support@adafruit.com. You guys could potentially combine your projects. You could have a location-based music-playing dog.
Good idea.
And I would actually like to see a location-based movie player one day, so the movie studios will finally have their wish. You can only watch a movie in one certain spot, and if you move out of the spot, you can't watch it. So those are just some ideas. Tonight's bad idea night.
Yeah, they're not good ideas. They're just ideas.
No, just ideas. Okay, next up, we're going to go to Virgil. Virgil, how's it going? Welcome back to the Show and Tell. What you got?
Thank you. I've got some retro.
Okay.
This computing history night.
Yeah.
I have here a 001 key punch. Patented by Herman Hollerith in 1901. This device is over 100 years old. I know that because you can see the nameplate on that says the Tabulating Machine Company, which merged with and became the Computing, Tabulating, and Recording Company in 1911, which then became IBM in 1923. So this is was replaced by the 011 electronic key punch in about 1923. So this is both technology history and business history that goes into this. And I realized that at the time this thing was invented was also the time that guys like Pearson and Fisher were developing modern statistics all at the same time. So the confluence of being able to tabulate data and to record it, use the electromechanical recording devices on these 45 column cards, which were used up until 1928, I believe, when IBM replaced them with the 80 column card, which was ubiquitous for another 60 years or so. This, and by the way, when they went away, that's why we needed yellow stickies, because because we didn't have these cards to write at the back of and play with them. And C. Scott, I wonder if you can play something on this. I think we can combine it. But this thing, this thing's been around for my father-in-law worked for IBM from 1940 to 1975.
Wow.
And this was he had found this someplace and cleaned it up, and so anyway, that's just my retro and a piece of
Okay.
real.
Cool. You know a lot about IBM history.
Email support@adafruit.com. If you ever take some good photos of it, send it to us. We'll post it up on the blog. Maybe there's people out there who either have these or also know about them too.
Okay, I will do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Virgil.
Robert has some like key punch cards for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, well, I don't know why you're keeping those around, Robert, but like you just have.
He just has them. He's just ready.
Punch cards kicking around.
Okay, so we
Those are
got
like the nice 80 column cards. Looks like.
we got 2 more folks that we're
Okay.
gonna, and we got this little time. So next up,
EKTA, give
and
us the
then we're
update.
gonna, and then we'll wrap up with C. Scott. Okay.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey.
We can hear you.
All right, let me just. So this week I'm going to be showing off one of my first projects, my first long-term projects. It is before I found a makerspace and I first got into electronics. I didn't have a garage or anything or any place to work and have like a dirty area. So I set up and made my own mobile workshop. So this is it closed. It's got a locking latch. So this lowered area is my work area, and it keeps everything, all the dust and all the electronic parts in one area, so it makes it easier for cleaning.
That's cool.
I like this.
Workbench in a box, yeah.
I like the parts holding at the top. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got for my tools, and I got a bunch of nails for hanging like hammers and clamps and right angle holders. And I have a separate section over here for all the extra like scrap wood and plastics that I save for later. I also got a nice clamp and anvil in the corner for banging and molding. I'm going to close it back up. It's got the 2 handles for easy carrying on and off cables. I'm going to lift it up real quick.
For the mobile maker.
Maker on the go. And it stores on its side. That's very nice.
Yep, it's got wheels on it, so it's for easy carrying from transport to, from place to place. And it's risen so that it can be easily lifted off cables.
Yeah.
Here and there. So this was my first workshop for my makerspace. I'm at my makerspace right now, actually, and I could feel the makerspace being a little jealous. But this is my mobile workshop.
I like
and
it.
one of my first
I love the
inventions.
little anvil.
It's a
little vice anvil.
It's like it's a makerspace. Those babushka dolls inside of that makerspace is another makerspace.
Yeah.
Well, that makerspace deserves a as seen on the show and tell sticker. So email support@adafruit.com, and we'll send you that one right away.
Real quick, I could show it to you.
Wait, what? Too far.
There we go. Now we're outside the makerspace. In the makerspace. Oh, and there's as you know, sound tell sticker.
Oh, that's nice. That's better than ADT. It's more
All right.
useful. All right, thank you.
Okay.
So my mobile workshop could use a sticker.
Okay. Email support@adafruit.com, and we'll send you out one. All
Will
right.
do. Thank you.
Scott, how you doing this week? What you got going on?
Hey, C. Scott.
Hello. Oh, it's me.
Time for you.
Hang on a minute. There we go. A few things, since it's Christmas time, and when I was in 1976, when I was a nice spry 12-year-old, I got as my first piece of electronic music gear this thing. which is...
Your camera just cut off, Scott. You're just a talking bit of fireworks, which is nice. But
wait.
Let me see if I can get it to requeue.
I thought it for a second. I saw the knobs.
Yeah, I do like talking fireworks.
How's that? Anything?
Yes.
Oh, that's nice.
Gnome.
Yep.
Paya.
That is weird. Well, if you look up Paya Gnome on the net, you'll see the thing. Well, I built that thing, and it worked more or less. It was, for a $60 kit back then, it made some nice noises. But I lost that one in a flood, unfortunately. And my son is 12 years old this year, and it's like, I want him to build the same thing I did at that age. So you can't buy them anymore, so I kind of made a little board version of it now, it doesn't have all of the panel wiring that was behind the unit that I wish I could show you on the screen. But I'm going to build one and test it, and once I make sure it works, I'll have him put one together here. Maybe he'll show it to you here soon. Well, moving on, maybe it'll show this picture. Showing that 101 electronic project kit from Radio Shack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colors.
When I was 9 in 1973, I got one of these. Well, moving into the future, we now have, of course, the Arduino kit, which a teacher made and put up on Kickstarter. I said, that's really cool. So I got one. In fact, I've got one of my MIDI interfaces plugged into it to do some debugging. But it's interesting. The parts change, but the method remains the same.
Yeah.
And I'll be using that to work on the 8-voice unit, which I'll have a very brief picture of here, because I know we're spare for time. If it's showing this is the 8-voice shield that I'll be throwing up onto the... is that showing?
It's talking fireworks, but that's okay.
But I don't know what's going on there. It's throwing my Google Plus avatar up there.
They just did another update, so that's all right. Well, we'll see. Maybe next week you can show it off.
Yeah, and to finish off the panels in for my Euro PX, you can see it mounts a board, and then an actual voice board will attach to the back. And it'll be another week or so. Maybe I can show it next week, because I got to ship this off to the guys to get it ready for the NAMM show. But in closing, here's a 1903 Trumbull 3-phase night switch. This is how you interrupt the power in your building 120 years ago. No fuses in it, but it still works. I used it for when we needed to switch like 20 amps into a motor speed controller. For the fellow who had the Series 50s, here's a 1967 TC202 Weller. I still use it. I got this when I was in the 70s. I had to replace the element on it 2 years ago, so it lasted.
I feel like we're watching a skateboarding championship, and everyone is just like hitting the ramp so high. This is fantastic. Well, thank you so much. That was great. So, Kevin came in at the end. Kevin, would you be okay with coming back next week and showing your hat? Because we got to do Asking In. Is that all right? It looks like a very cool hat.
It's a cool hat. We can't wait to see it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kevin, and thank you so much, everybody. This was a jam-packed show. So we'll see everybody on Asking In in a few minutes, and we'll see everybody next week on Show and Tell. We'll be here on Christmas Eve. Bye, everybody.
See you.
Okay.